Hello, everybody. Welcome to Indigo Tarot Odyssey and what you need to hear today. So, you guys, if you've seen these cards, these specific ones in past reads, it doesn't matter. The messages that I channel through are always different with certain cards, depending on the time, the energies, and really what we need to hear as a collective. You know, those wonderful, awake, aware, awesome messages that really team with great potential and make us excited about us and our lives and lavish us with hope and optimism. It's what happens every single morning to me when I reach for the best perspective on life. And usually it starts with my reads, because when I'm channeling, my vibration goes way up. And I was talking to a couple clients this morning and I thought, some people are going through some sticky situations. And here's what it all boils down to: point blank, using the yardstick of success to measure our own success against other people's. And if there's one thing I've learned in life, is I never measure my success. It really, especially to other people, I always try to, achieve and learn more and as I go, but not pressurize myself. But here's the thing, it is all perspective. Point in case, me and my son and my other offspring, Joni, worked at this. It was a fairly expensive, exclusive tennis pool club. And we would cook and serve guests and clean up and do all these things. And even though sometimes it was so hot there and we'd be sweaty and we'd be cooking, we would listen to music and have fun and laugh, and we were spending time together. And when it was quiet and there weren't tennis tournaments, I got to meet semi-pros and pros, and I made them jewelry. It was so much fun. I loved it. And it's like, I always love to, be productive and work anyway. And I find when I move physically, I think better mentally. And I thought it was such a wonderful summer, although it was hard. It was a lot of physical work. But in comparison, the guests were always miserable. They were always looking for something to complain about. I saw this one woman sitting, and she looked like America's Next Top Model in a white tennis dress, all so beautiful. And I am not kidding you. Joni came back and said, "Mom, you're not going to believe what I just heard that lady say." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, she just mentioned something about how she wants to die, and if she had a gun, she would use it. And I was like, what in the world? So Joni just wrote her a message that said, listen, it's just something very sweet to the measure of, we're right here if you need anything. Because we would see her sometimes there with her son, and she looked sad. Come to find out, she had like IBS, and she would have to go to the emergency room in the middle of the night, and she had all of this stuff. And in comparison, a lot of other people at that club, they were always fighting. It was known as the drop-off. So all the wealthy parents would just dump their kids there all day and just basically have the older kids babysit the younger kids. And when you'd hear the kids on the phone to their parents, they were always yelling and give me more money for food and disrespectful and all this spoiled, gross energy that I couldn't believe. And I thought, you know what? How lucky am I with my family that they respect like my finances, their finances, putting in a good day's work, treating people respectfully. Half of these people had no respect. They were always arguing. They were entitled, insane people. The majority of them, absolutely 100%. And I thought, if people were to look from the outside and they'd see, some of these people that had cosmetic surgery, were in top line tennis gear, had all this fun, a Gucci smoochy, everything, they would think, oh wow, they've really got it made. I'll tell you what, I really had to struggle to see anybody have happy moments in that club. It was the weirdest thing. And I thought, meanwhile, here's me and my kids sweating our butts off, making all these milkshakes and all of this stuff and putting up with all this abuse, which we'd laugh at because we saw it for what it was. It was like, we're not exactly poor, but we would never treat anybody like that when we go out to anywhere in our lives. Oh my God. And we would laugh and we'd listen to music and we had a good time. So if people were measuring their success by what they had and owned and where they were, okay, it looked pretty good. But inside, they were all at the height of their misery, and they all sort of gravitated towards one another. And it was bizarre. I'm not saying every club has that. I belong to different clubs, my father, my family. It is kind of those circles you run in where everybody's just competitive and keeping up with the Joneses, and you never have enough, and you're fearful and you're antagonistic and you're entitled. And I thought, you can measure by any yardstick that you want. But when it comes to happiness and soulfulness and living a good life, that yardstick was pretty small. So it really is kind of like a phantom thing. So never think that someone is happier, has more than you, is thriving more than you, because there can be health issues, there can be all of those things. And this is the gratitude I'm talking about. When we have gratitude, forget it. Everything stems from there. You are receiving blessings, thanks, and giving. I've noticed over the last couple of days, I've been really generous. I've been really happy. I've been feeling really abundant, and I'm having abundant revenue streams too because of that, in terms of my work. And I really relish that. And I think it's important that we see that in ourselves, regardless of what it is, and not measure it against other people. For me, yes, I'm doing well, I'm thriving compared to millionaires or actresses or whatever. It's a different yardstick, that sort of thing. But even in that arena, a lot of people are never satiated. I'm happy with very little as long as I have creativity, great conversations with my friends and all of that, and my family is healthy. And man, am I so lucky in that regard that my family really does have a lot of vitality and good health, and is thriving in that regard. So what is working in your life? That's what I want you to pinpoint. What's just going dishy, and what needs a little enhancing, and let's engage a little energy in that to change and shift it, right? I heard this one thing, and I think this is so true. I think if we stay seriously hydrated, drink a lot of water, we have the cleanest diet pretty much possible. We can have cheat days and things, of course. We don't have to eat like absolute saints and be out there eating grubs out of the earth. But that good rest and a good attitude of gratitude, and I'm telling you, you can maintain some serious good vitality and health through just that. So just think of even the littlest thing, what's happened to you that spawned a little happiness, and maybe you've done something praiseworthy from yourself. That has a powerful effect to put us in the avenue of gratitude, and that changes everything. More good things wash up on our shore. We feel more gracious, and it's a smoother path to look for reasons why the earth, the universe, our family, and all of these things are wonderful and healing and generous and genuine and gifted and all of that. And because of that, we will trust in the tranquil times to come. Listen, we can be restful, we can be calm. We don't always have to be accommodating and rushing and chasing things. We can just be and just settle. Let's stop trying to measure ourselves up against anybody else and not get fixated on what we want. We're constantly in a state of want just due to ego. But once we recognize that, be like, I'm fine. I have everything I need. Everything else is gravy, If something is eye-catching and I have, the wherewithal to add it to my resources, I will. Otherwise, I'm not going to get obsessed about it, right? So let's look at expansion, ritual, dance, feast, and fire. I love this. Yesterday when I was working in the shop with Ian, this really fun song came on. And I love anything by Pink. I love her. I love anything by Florence and the Machine. And I was just dancing around. And I was having so much fun just varnishing. And it's such a great release to just put on some fantastic music and dance, and just getting that fun dynamic. And it's exquisite because it just transports us, get in the rhythm of things and move. But this also does have to do with, rituals. Are you preparing yourself for occasions to see the synchronicities through rituals? And that can just be healthy rituals of anything from oral hygiene, doing things at certain times of the day that benefit you and make you feel good about how you're going about your life whilst looking after yourself, right? That brings us to peaceful. This is my main goal in everything: tranquility, higher self, peace, and evoking that. And how I do that is I get in the mindset of I am calm, I am at peace, I am restful, everything that I need and whatever want is around me. I'm surrounded by helpful entities and angels, all of that. It's a graceful, beautiful, peaceful orbit to be in. And it's always available to us. It really is. I'm telling you, a good example of this is over in Japan when they have to sardine their little buns into those freaking subways or whatever they're doing. There's a lot of peaceful, awesome Eastern practices where, you can just, in your mind, be totally alone and have all the space that you need. There's a lot of techniques that teach claustrophobics this too, that, we are as condensed and tight as we think we are, but we're as loose and free and have as much oxygen as we need as we think we have. So you go into your mind and you just pretend you're in your own space. You're the only person in that compartment. You're out in an open field. And I can do this too. When I did some studies for Yale, I had to do that because I would be in machines that were, not totally constrictive, but if I had wanted to panic in my mind, I could have easily done that. Instead, I said, oh, I get to rest and lie here and daydream. This is wonderful. And, I have all the space that I need. And that's where I was, because that's where I believe myself to be. And this is how we achieve peace. Have you ever seen people out? It could be in restaurants or malls, and you can have all this activity and frantic kind of stuff going on, and then you'll just see this person that's just in their own world. That's where you can get to by simply just thinking those peaceful, wonderful thoughts. Usually they're nature based, right? Sitting in a beautiful beach chair, just watching the ocean. The simplicity of that is so cleansing and clearing and tranquil. And make a valiant effort to do that whenever you can, because it will help you reach this splendid state, the mind state of just calm, and no more kind of like pushing and needing and wanting, just and everything feels bountiful. And know that you always have a choice, and know that you can always be discerning and say no to things that just aren't copacetic in your book. And just know that you are the darling that the universe created to go out there and thrive in any capacity that you want. And there is enough riches, there is enough love, there is enough ideas for everybody. So that's what you need to hear today, you guys. Love and light.